Police inspector arrested for allegedly killing his girlfriend at a dome in the Ashanti region, remanded into police custody after appearing in court.
You can't kill somebody just because of 5,000 guys in the city. For what? For what? What have you done? You have audacity and mind in each other.
Also coming up, residents of La demonstrate against stalled La General Hospital project.
Mr. Minister, on behalf of government, appear at the La Traditional Council to render an unconditional apology to Nime and the people of La by Wednesday, 3rd May 2023, for the deception and subsequent neglect without any communication whatsoever on...
Still to come, Member of Parliament for South Dai petitions Shraj to investigate report on Galamsey in Ghana by former Minister of Science, Environment, Technology and Innovation, Professor Frimpong Boateng.
We have done the needful by filing the petition with the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice. It was received by the Commissioner himself. We would have an acknowledgement letter by tomorrow.
And later, 7 leaders of physician assistants who picketed at the premises of the Health Ministry to demand employment arrested.
All what we are saying is we want to see the minister and then express our displeasure to him. We want him to talk to us. That's what we want. We haven't caused any chaos here.
Grateful that you chose us this hour. The show is conversational, and so we'd like to hear from you. You can join us via our WhatsApp number and, of course, our socials with your thoughts, your comments, and your contributions. This morning, I'm in studio with Jude Mensah Duncan. Good morning, Jude.
Good morning, Nana.
Looking sharp as always.
Thank you. I mean, it's always a pleasure to be on this show.
It's always good to have you. Let's dive straight into our very first story and take you to the Ashanti region, Edum, where a police officer who was arrested for allegedly killing his girlfriend has been remanded.
Police inspector who has been arrested for allegedly killing his girlfriend at Udum in the Ashanti region, Ahmed Chumesi, has been remanded into police custody after appearing in court. And according to the prosecution, investigations have established that the officer committed the act because the deceased failed to refund 5,000 Ghana cedis owed him. Speaking in court, however, the embattled police officer Ahmed Chumesi stated that it was not his intention to kill his lover. Our Middle Belt Bureau Chief Edward Opon-Mafo reports.
Police Inspector Ahmed Chumesi was arrested at his hideout on Sunday, 23rd April 2023, at Setre, near Fijasi, after allegedly killing his girlfriend on Thursday, 20th April 2023. The police say their investigations show that Inspector Ahmed Chumesi allegedly used his service rifle in committing the heinous crime. He has thus been provisionally charged with murder. During the first court proceedings at Asukariman District Court on Thursday, April 25, 2023, the prosecution said that investigations have also established that a police officer wanted a deceased to refund an amount of 5,000 Ghana cedis owed him. Following her failure to refund the money, the officer then decided to shoot her, which led to her death. Speaking in court, the head of legal and prosecutions in the Ashanti region, ACP Kofi Blagoji, described the act by the police inspector as barbaric. He noted, do whatever they can to ensure justice is served. The police said they are particularly worried about the action of the accused since he has served for a long time in the police service. The accused, Inspector Ahmed Chumesi, who was not represented by any lawyer in court, tried throughout the court proceedings. Although his plea was not taken, the suspect told the court it was not his intention to kill his lover. The prosecutor, ACP Kofi Blagoji, was however unable to confirm if the police administration has so far come up with any form of sanctions against the police officer. It was an emotional moment for family members of the deceased who were in court.
What have you not catch and say Odofo? You have audacity and mind in the church Odofo.
No.
Odofo no why? One hour Odofo. Odofo do to me come be 50 million. Ah, blah, wouldn't be a bit.
Not me nim the entire Wokuno. But another man who be back to Nabu say, one no masam say 50 million, one fancy come and out, kuna to Atane. Namasa, Mrs. Sinemo Killa cry, your body to a bobby to Zia, kill and poor, what tip on your Yakuno. Your body to Quansia. Just 5,000 cities. Welcome, Nipa. It's almost 30th, next month 30th. Yeah, the Nebaba. Yeah, dear, Yenum Rabba Yaduma. Gentlemen from Lanchi and some, I said the pet. Naminim say, that parade you are in a Juma, the near pen watching on my Akakot.
Senior court case in the court to send a Mohono. Now, say no. You must want to make assurance is now police for name must say or mobeshe say bibia because you know be dia sem netino. Who is say would you say ya na kwadia? Me who is ye pa say ya na kwadia. E be go see my head here. Me ni problem because omo kwa manen kasa. O ma ya de. O ma ya de pa say ya na kwadia papa. Makoma to me yam.
The police had to call for reinforcement after some family members of the deceased attempted to attack the accused. The police eventually used another route and were able to take the suspect out of the court premises.
The family members are very much worried. Some of them are even trying to raining salt on the accused person who is within the court premises. And so we're coming here in the background. Some of them are basically just trying to wait and just see the suspect. Some of them are saying that they want to engage him to really find out what went into his mind to allegedly commit the act. And so it's an emotional moment. Many of the family members, friends, and other sympathizers who have come here to the court premises are in a state of mourning. They can't control themselves and are basically just weeping. The police officers are trying to take the suspect out of court at the moment. And so they have actually found a way. They took the back door, and now the suspect has been taken out. And in fact, many of the family members were trying to get hold of him, but because of the police team that came, they used the back door, and some people are still trying to chase the police vehicle that is going. And so that's it here. Quite a charged atmosphere here at the Ascari-Mampong District Court. The matter has been adjourned to 30th May 2023. For City News, I'm Edward Upon Marful, Ascari-Mampong District Court.
You can understand the sentiments of the family of the deceased. They have lost a loved one. They have lost a relative. The future of an individual has been cut short because of a supposed 5,000 Ghana cedis debt. But what I cannot understand is how you claim innocence or feign innocence and regret after having allegedly pulled the trigger 5 times.
I mean, Tufman, this is just unfortunate. I mean, first of all, our sincere condolence and sympathies really to the family of the late Victoria Dapa. It's a very difficult time, understandably so. We are praying with them that they receive some comfort in these times. And like you said, it's difficult to understand the reasons why somebody would commit an act like this, especially when in the past you profess to be in some sort of love relationship with someone.
Exactly.
So I'm struggling to understand the extent of misunderstanding that would result in this. I mean, we heard some relatives in the video said that even if it was an armed robber that was caught by the roadside, would this have been the sort of treatment being meted out to
and
the
for
person?
no mean person than a chief inspector of the Ghana Police Service who understands the law and how it should operate, even if indeed there's a death in this matter.
I mean, it's highly irresponsible, really, on the part of the police officer. We hope that he'll be made to face the full rigors the rigor of the law. But it's in Nana Tufo, it points out the bigger picture really of this is the standards of policing in the country really, and for me, PIPS really, the Police Intelligence and Professional Standards Bureau, for me, have a lot of work to do. I mean, if it's not a drunk police officer, and you see, in the past, we've heard rumors and allegations about the state of recruitment into the police service. So we hear some big man somewhere, some minister or MP somewhere, and it's become even, we hear in some constituencies, there are promises made to the people that, see, when I become MP, I'll put this number of people in policing. So for me, we have to look at our recruitment of police again. It shouldn't only be about physical appearance and meeting those kind of standards, right? But also, it's about time we look at the psychological state of people we recruit into, not only the police service.
Clearly, this inspector's state of mind should be checked.
Definitely. I mean, I don't think with this kind of action, he merits any form of place in our police.
And then talk about the bigger picture. I mean, we should also bring to the front burner how society inadvertently has given men some sense of entitlement that they would tend to think that a woman is an item you can own, because this is really endemic in society, and this is what has really resulted in a lot of the domestic violence cases we keep hearing about.
It's unfortunate. I mean, the state of power, the balance of power in this obviously was against the lady in here.
Clearly.
We understand that there were some disagreements. She didn't want to continue the relationship again. This from some relatives. Then he was like, okay, fine, now bring me my money, and the rest became history. So for me, I think it's about time. And like I said, I think it's also very important that in as much as we look at the role of society in addressing this sort of endemic problem, like you put it, it's also about time we look at policing standards in the country and the state of recruitment into our security services.
I agree. Let's make progress. Let's move into some other story. And in the La community, we heard of a demonstration there. The protesters are unhappy with the state of the La General Hospital. Clearly, the project has stalled.
Residents of La on Tuesday, April 25, demonstrated against the stalled La General Hospital project. The facility, which was demolished by the government to make way for the planned rehabilitation to improve healthcare delivery in the area, has been left abandoned for over 2 years. The report has more.
Placards with inscriptions such as, "When will the La General Hospital become a reality again? Our women and children are dying. Bring back the hospital," among others, were some of the messages residents of La were sending to the government to immediately commence the reconstruction of the La General Hospital.
I am concerned that whenever anybody falls ill, the place you're supposed to send is the La General Hospital. Now, we don't have any facility in La. The bank hospital is there, the police hospital is there. Those places are not accessible because it is meant for some people. And if you don't have money, you cannot go there. We don't have the actual public hospital in La. That's the reason why today we have taken on the streets to display our displeasure to the government that they have actually denied the fact that there are people living in the land of Nadekotopon. Because if they knew we are citizens of La, they will come and rebuild it, and actually we have access to free health education. That's the reason why today we are demonstrating.
3 years ago, in March 2020, the people of La witnessed the demolition of the La General Hospital by the government. A few months later, on August 2020, government cut the sword for the reconstruction of the project with a promise to complete it in 2 years. The project was to be financed by a credit facility from Standard Chartered Bank of the United Kingdom with an export credit guarantee from China's Sinosure worth about 68 million euros with an insurance cover of 3.8 million euros. But the project has stalled, with residents raising concerns about the adverse impact it is having on their access to immediate health care.
You see, the hospital must grade from clinic to polyclinic to a general hospital. You understand? You can build it in 2 years. Now it's wide over 3 years now. So our concern is, it is just like it has actually denied the fact that there are people living in the land of Nadekotopon. That is the one today. We have rise up as a concerned citizen of Ladadekotopon, we have risen out to show our displeasure that this government is not there to save our interests.
My mother attends church at Divine Helen Church of Christ, Ladadekotopon, near Tawala. One day he wake up to church, and inside the church he said he's feeling pains in his stomach. So they rush him to police hospital. When we reached there, they said they have emergency. So they couldn't attend to my mother. Unfortunately, 1 hour time, my mother passed out. If there was a clinic at La, my mother would survive the pain in his stomach. Right now, I'm speaking to you. My mother has died. So I'm attending this demonstration to tell the president that we need the La General Hospital back.
The demonstration, which spanned about an hour and a half, saw protesters march through major principal streets of La, Laboni and Osu. The Member of Parliament for the constituency, Ritana Adolesoa, who joined the protesters, however, bemoaned why the hospital has stalled despite the approvals of tax exemptions on equipment expected to be imported into the country for the construction of the hospital.
They demolished the La General Hospital in 2019. They cut sword in 2020. Promised the good people of Ladekotopon they were going to construct it in 2 years. August last year, that's August 2022, was exactly 2 years they demolished the hospital. As we speak, when you go there, nothing has been done about it. The good people of Ladekotopon, when we are sick, we don't know how hospitals to go to. We go to Lekma, we go to police hospital. Sometimes some of the health facilities turn our people away because they said we have a polyclinic. The polyclinic is woefully inadequate for us. Recently, they came with a loan, they came with a facility that they needed tax exemption for. I supported that tax exemption, but up to date, that tax exemption, up to date, nothing has been done. Where are the equipment? Where is the 68 million euro loan that they contracted?
A representative from the Ministry of National Security received the petition from the residents on behalf of the government in front of the stored project. While delivering the petition, spokesperson for the residents, Jeffrey Tete, made some demands.
Why are others getting their fair share of the national cake, while we are treated as dogs who have to wait for the leftover? If this is the meaning of equality, then we might as well advise ourselves. We are left with one resolve: that government is not prepared to look at the plight of the people of La in terms of their health needs. Considering the foregoing, we the people of La and our brothers and sisters from the entire Gadangme area demand as follows. 1. You, Mr. Minister, on behalf of government, appear at the La Traditional Council to render an unconditional apology to Nime and the people of La by Wednesday, 3rd May 2023, for the deception and subsequent neglect without any communication whatsoever on the state of the project. 2. Commence the reconstruction of the hospital within the next 7 days of receiving this petition. Provide guarantees for completing the project within the stated 2-year duration. And 4. We also reject the inclusion of the La General Hospital under the Agenda 111 scheme, as it will descope the project. If you fail to heed our request, we the people of La will advise ourselves.
Well, for a nation that wants to look good in the face of every international body, this is bad news. For a nation that is looking to attain the SDG Goal 3 on health and general well-being, this is bad. I mean, I've heard the presidential advisor on health seek to profess some explanation to why the projects are stalled. And he does mention that the facility, a credit facility they were working for the project, did not go through. I'm struggling to get which facility this is. Is this the same we're expecting from Standard Chartered UK, guaranteed by the Sinoja of the Republic of China, or there's a different credit facility that we're working at?
I mean, Nanatu, any way you want to look at this shows a lot of bad faith from government in the handling of this particular issue. I mean, granted that there were severe structural problems with the facility, which meant that it had to.
You see, this was captured in a report by the Ghana Health Service itself.
Yeah, I mean, so according to administrators of the hospital, they raised the alarm about some severe structural defects. And so it meant that
they used the word gaping cracks.
So it meant that the hospital in itself had become some sort of death trap. Yes, a waiting death trap basically. And you don't want people seeking healing in a place like that. So, I mean, it stands to reason why it'll be demolished. But my concern here is that this, considering the number of people the hospital serves and the absence of an alternative, because other than this, you'll be forced to use the Bank of Ghana hospital if you're in the La area or the police hospital. The Bank of Ghana hospital, not a private, I mean, quite expensive, even though it's
comparatively.
Exactly. So, I mean, for me, I felt government shouldn't have wasted time at all and left the project to stall this much. And you see, it shouldn't have been seen as one of those usual politics, really. For me, you listen to a lot of government's communication around it. It was about government and government and government. So even to some extent, you hear people saying that he's going to be part of the Agenda 111 and all of that. I felt government has been quite, I mean, they didn't take it seriously.
The 111 makes it more worrying. How do you embark on such an ambitious project when you have abandoned this?
Yes, and with the collapse of the country's economy, it means that some of these projects were pushed further back. So for me, it's unfortunate government has not shown good faith, and it's very regrettable. And we hope that we get proper answers as soon as possible.
It's really the getting the answers is where the importance of these demonstrations, or is what underscores the importance of such of
I mean, great job from residents in the area. You need to put government on their toes, and this is one of the proper ways, democratic ways of going about it.
But I have my difficulties though. Now that we're going for an IMF deal, I mean, Big Brother is going to stand behind you with a whip.
Yeah, but I think they should consider a project of this nature.
Right. There was another demonstration. Physician assistants demanding posting picketed at the Ministry of Health, and 7 of their leaders were arrested.
7 leaders of a group of physician assistants who picketed at the premises of the Health Ministry are still locked up after police arrested them for unlawful assembly. The physician assistants were at the Health Ministry to demand employment, having been jobless since completing their certification 3 years ago. The group flouted an agreement with the police to hold the protest away from the premises of the Health Ministry, leading to the arrest. The following report has
Right, I'm currently standing amongst a group of young people who say they are qualified physician assistants. The problem is that for the past 3 years, since they received their licenses, they have not been employed. This morning, they've gathered here at the Health Ministry to demand for employment. They want the ministry to post them to their various stations. I'm joined here by one of the protesters. I understand you recently signed an MOU with government. What was contained in that MOU?
Okay, so the memorandum of understanding was that we informed them about this picketing, and there was an agreement to ensure that all NEFs are calmed, so that the ministry will ensure that anybody who is qualified, professionally qualified by the Medical and Dental Council, is posted. That was the memorandum of understanding. But as of now, there is nothing that has been done.
When was this signed?
Almost 2021. Up to now, nothing has been done. We've been to the ministry, we've been to the Parliamentary Select Committee on Health. We've had a lot of engagement. But as I speak, there is nothing to show for. And we are dying. We are hungry. The ordinary physician assistant is ready and willing to support the country in terms of health.
How do you expect government to find the money to pay you once they bring you into the system? Already the government coffers is already stretched with public sector wages.
Our message is simple. Last two weeks, we realized that nurses were posted. We realized that the portal for medical doctors were open for them to have their posting. Same way, physician assistant also deserve the fair share of the national cake.
The leadership of the group is currently locked in a meeting with officials of the Health Ministry, but will continue to engage the rest that are left behind here. Tell me how you've been surviving for the past 3 years without work.
It's been hardship upon hardship. Looking at the current economic situation in the country, even the people who are employed are crying. So you can imagine the level of devastation, the level of of paying the physician assistant students or the physician assistants who are due for employment are going through. Imagine completing school 5 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, qualified with your license, with your certificate, ready to serve people in communities that need our services. Imagine in somewhere in the north, somewhere in the Oti region, somewhere in the Volta region, there are health centers that have been abandoned, whereas there are professionals who could actually be there working to help save lives. What are we seeing here? See, the profession we chose to save life has chosen to kill us.
Your placard says that you deserve better than discrimination. You think that you're being discriminated against?
Yes, we are. Because we are all trained as health professionals. So if you are posting nurses, you are posting doctors, why are we not being posted? Why? That was our question today. Why are we not being posted? So we are here today to be posted.
If that doesn't happen, what are the options available to you?
If that doesn't happen, we will be back. And we will come in our numbers that time. Today, the only leaders are here. But if we are not posted, if you don't hear anything from them, we will be back next time. And our numbers will be very massive.
The physician assistant came in with a petition, and the public relations officer for the health ministry, Mr. Isaac Ofe, he received the petition on behalf of the health minister.
We are assuring that we'll send this petition to him and then we'll deal with it accordingly. However, quite recently, he met the leadership at his conference room and they deliberated over a number of issues that have been raised here. The ministry make recruitment based on clearance that we receive from the Ministry of Finance. And so when we get a clearance, then we open the portal and then we allow them to access. There have been a number of challenges. We sat down with their leadership at the minister's conference room. We addressed those challenges that were raised. Now that we've received this petition, it will motivate us to push further. We are pushing. The ministry is not relenting on making sure that all health workers are sent back to their various places to work.
The picketing took a different turn when 3 of the leaders were picked up by the police. It was later revealed that they had been picked up for violating an agreement with the police, which did not permit them to picket at the ministry, but rather at the Independence Square. Stephen Kundua explained the circumstances that led to the arrest of their leaders.
We were waiting to have some form of negotiations with leaders at the ministry. That is what they told us. So we have gathered there waiting to be called. When one of the police officers came to ask whether I am one of the leaders whose name is on the letter that was submitted to them. Unfortunately, my name wasn't part. I was wishing that my name was part. So when I said no, then he mentioned the other 2 guys. He knew their names were there. He said the police command wants to see them. So they had to go with them to the police station. So there was one other leader whose name, even though wasn't on it, but joined them. So there are 3, Eugene, Isaac, and Francis Apia. So as we speak, they are the police head office. I don't know what is happening there.
The group was defiant against the police order to leave the premises until their arrested colleagues were freed.
We came to see the minister. We didn't come to see the police commander. So what you are saying, they should release them. Else we are not leaving. We are not leaving until we have our leaders back and then have the meeting with the minister.
That was the general mood of the group, and then this happened. Policemen in plain clothes showed up in Rambo style to scare the protesters away. In the course of doing so, 4 more people were arrested, taking the total number to 7. It's been quite an eventful day. The physician assistants who went to the Ministry of Health this morning to picket had no idea that 7 of their members would be arrested and brought to the regional police headquarters. Initially, 3 of them were picked up, 3 of their leaders were picked up, and later 4 were added when policemen in plain clothes came over to drive them away after they refused to leave the premises of the Ministry of Health until their postings were handed over to them. So they've all been brought here to the regional police headquarters. Now, some of the members of the group have come in here to try and negotiate the release of their colleagues. For City News, my name is Charles Osukumi, reporting.
Well, we know for certain that these 7 physician assistants who were picked up yesterday have been released on bail and were supposed to report to the police service at 10 a.m. this morning. But Jude, what really are the issues? Do they have a legitimate concern? Yes. Did they engage the police ahead of this protest? Yes. Every protest has an objective. It seeks to achieve a particular target. Now, who is the target in this particular protest? Health Ministry, Health Minister.
Yeah.
You want them to protest at Independence Square. Will the minister drive to the Independence Square to receive a petition or to address them?
I mean, mind you, the end goal is to get government or the state to act on their demands, and the state will do anything within its power. I mean, once they want to. So you understand why government, or I don't want to use the word government, but the powers that be would not want a protest like this to happen because it doesn't look good on government. I mean, for a country whose medic distribution is very uneven geographically, go to some regions in the north, how many doctors are there in the first place? So, I mean, this whole idea of a physician assistant is a really great initiative, cost-cutting approach at, I mean, making sure that people in underserved regions get some sort of health care. And for me to leave a program like that to just waste human resources, I mean, mind you, students who've been trained with government money, for that reason, the taxpayers' money, right? And now we don't have any employment for them. What happens is that in the next course of their lives, in the next 5 years, in the next 2 years, these same people will now, out of frustration, just leave the profession entirely and go and engage in something different. Some will decide to sell apples, some will decide to sell grapes, which will eventually increase our inflation. I mean, so you see, the whole structure is basa, chaka, and it's a problem.
No plan.
Yeah, I mean, you see, somebody is being paid to think about all of these things.
Exactly.
I mean, I get that we are in very difficult straits right now, so it means that government can't absorb certain people into.
But these persons were not trained yesterday, so there should have been a plan for the training and, of course, for the absorption into the system.
So for me, Nana, it's mind-boggling how we allow some of these things to happen. Worst of it all is that even when they are protesting, you are trying to, I mean, arrest them. I mean, they were actually arrested.
That's what my problem really is.
So, I mean, the one of the guys who was interviewed, he said something very profound. He says, see, he didn't for the life of him believe that a profession he entered in with the notion of coming out to save lives is what is trying to kill him. And come to think about it, I mean, if you finish school for this period, you've not been employed with everything that is going on in the country, it's a very difficult time. So
quite frustrating for them.
Our heart outs to these physician assistants. We'll be supporting them, and we hope that government is able to, in the short to medium term, figure out something and put them into our various healthcare facilities we have in the country.
I mean, I have difficulty seeing how that
is
will
going to happen
anytime soon, because I mean, this is a Ministry of Health that has limited the use of its elevators to save power or money on consumption of power. So, Charlie, I mean, I'm not sure, but we are praying for the best. We're just hoping for the best. But then, of course, it's worrying edge as though we are becoming a police state. I mean, using the police
not too long
to do
ago,
all sorts of things.
We're told that the NHIS crown is not even working. And there's someone whose job it is to make sure that all of these things. I mean, we have a problem at hand, really, and it's unfortunate that's happening. But like I said, our heart out to these assistants. We hope that government is still able to figure out something for them. It's in the interest of the country that we make sure that their investment, the investment of the country in them, do not go waste.
All right, you're still watching CNR Extra here on City TV. Still to come. Member of Parliament for South Dai petitions. Stay with us. We'll be right back with the details.
Video about how will compete with other entries to win one of the 65-inch NASCO flat screen TVs with an HD Plus module for mom. HD Plus, the feel experience.
Welcome back. This is CNR Extra here on City TV. Join us with your thoughts, your comments, and of course your contributions to the various stories we've discussed so far, and of course those that we'll be bringing you. Let's move into our next story. And Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration has successfully evacuated some 82 Ghanaians from conflict-stricken Sudan.
Some regional integration has successfully coordinated the evacuation of 82 Ghanaian nationals from the Republic of Sudan. Sudan has been gripped by a deadly conflict between the Sudanese armed forces and the paramilitary rapid support forces, resulting in avoidable casualties in the past week, which has forced many countries to evacuate their citizens from the country. The ministry on Sunday, April 23, in a statement disclosed that it was collaborating with its missions in Cairo, Addis Ababa, and the honorary consul in Khartoum to facilitate a safe passage out of the conflict-ridden Sudan. A follow-up statement on April 25 disclosed in Sudan are waiting to be transported tomorrow to Ethiopia for onward repatriation.
Well, I want to say kudos to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration for expediting the move to evacuate Ghanaians from Sudan, because clearly the conflict there is getting serious. There was a ceasefire recently, but this morning we're seeing on TV that some pockets of violence is marring this ceasefire.
Yeah, I mean, we heard the U.S. Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, call for some cessation of some sort to enable deliberations and conversations take place. You understand that it's a serious power play between the Gulf and, of course, the West. I mean, but Nana, bringing the story down here, I think we should commend the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. For some reason, this particular minister and the ministry seem to have some grace with evacuation. I mean, you take your mind back to China.
She knows how to play the diplomatic game.
Yeah, I think she does that quite well. When COVID broke out and we were not sure what the world was going to turn out like, and down to the country, Ukraine war, students who were, I mean, at their wits' end really had salvation at the end, and they were brought down here. Now we've seen same done for Sudan. Mind you, the CNN reported earlier today that some American Sudanese doctor was killed, was stabbed. We've not heard any for any Ghanaian. So I think the Ministry of Foreign Affairs deserves some commendation on this particular one. I mean, I'm struggling to understand really, because at the end of the day, it's a lot of power play we see in there. Now the World Health Organization is warning of some biological risks after one faction has seized medical and health facilities in the place. It's quite unfortunate, especially that it's happening on the African continent again. So in the coming days, we hope that we are able to some stability can come to the region.
Well, it's reassuring and it's comforting news to hear the Deputy Minister give the assurance that every single Ghanaian in Sudan will be accounted for, and that no Ghanaian life will be lost.
I hope they're able to follow through with that.
We're really looking forward to that. Now, I mean, the issue that has been topical within the past days, coming all the way from the weekend, is that report by Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng, chairman of Defunct Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining. Well, the Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo, has petitioned Shraj to commence investigations into this matter.
Member of Parliament for South Dai Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo has petitioned charge to investigate the Diamond report on Galamsey in Ghana by former Minister of Science, Environment, Technology and Innovation, Professor Frimpong Boateng. The former minister, who also doubled as the chairman of the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, in a 37-page document, accused key political actors in government of their participation in polluting major water bodies. The revelations have necessitated the Member of Parliament to fall on the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice to probe the report further.
South Dai MP Roxanne Nelson Dafiamekpo on Tuesday petitioned the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice to investigate alleged corrupt practices, conflict of interest on mining, for which Professor Frimpong Boateng said 3 indicates that a report of the Ministerial Committee has exposed the severity in damage caused to the forest reserve and water bodies in the country. This has become one of the major problems yet to be tackled by the government. The Office of the President has also rejected the report, describing the allegations as hearsay without any factual evidence. But the lawyers for the South Dai MP, led by Nick Papu Samoa Ado, the matter must be independently probed for punitive measures to be taken against the culprits.
He has an emergency in his constituency, so he couldn't be here himself, but as his lawyer, we have done the needful by filing the petition with the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice. It was received by the Commissioner himself. We would have an acknowledgement letter by tomorrow, and they would begin investigations immediately. They have a process by which they go through. They first have to assess the petition and find out whether we have met the basic requirements that qualify the petition to be investigated. Once that is done, they would then issue out the necessary letters to the parties that are concerned and affected for them to respond to the allegations contained therein. And then, based on that, they would then do their preliminary investigations and, if necessary, begin sittings in respect of the particular case. So it's a process. Once you activate it, we expect that it will move smoothly and timeously. It is something that we'll be following. We have requested for public hearings in respect of this particular matter. We expect that there should be no reason why we should not have same. In fact, the Commission indicates to me that they always hold public hearings. It's just that sometimes you, the media, don't seem to be too interested. It goes beyond the issues of corruption and allegations of conflict of interest that have been made against certain public officers. Our concern is the degradation of the environment. That is a human rights issue which actually goes to the right to life. And so the persons who live in those villages whose means of livelihood are affected, their cocoa trees are destroyed, their cash crops are destroyed, the devastation that is ongoing to our water bodies, the inability of most of our Ghana Water Company to be able to give us drinking water, among others, makes this a pressing national issue.
The Member of Parliament, also in the petition, wants Shraj to investigate allegations of abuse of office made by the former Secretary of the Ministerial Committee, Charles Bissiu, against Professor Kwabena Frimpong Boateng over matters involving some 500 excavators that supposedly went missing around February 2020.
There's enough material for investigation. And coupled with that, Mr. Bissiu too has also issued a challenge. If you look at his was a statement on Ghana, captured in Ghana Web, but that's 15th March 2023, and he challenged Professor Frimpong Boateng over the issues of the 500 Mexican excavators, and actually made allegations that Professor Boateng himself was also involved in Galamsey. Well, we are not interested in the names. What we are interested in is we have a menace. There is illegal mining. The allegations cut across both ways. The allegations involve government officials, private persons, and all that. How do we stop this menace? How do we bring those who have devastated our environment to book? Clearly, the government is not interested. So we need to fall upon our independent agencies such as SHRAJ to do the work. Other arms of government are interested. Parliament has not responded. The executive says they are not interested. So we only have SHRAJ as our last bulwark. If they also fail us, then we are doomed. We will be importing water very soon.
Lawyer for Member of Parliament for South Dai, that's Roxy Nelson Dafiamekbo, says that he is interested in this particular matter, how it pans out in terms of its investigations. Well, the high-profile individuals who have been accused of engaging in illegal mining in the country will be investigated by the Commission of Human Rights and Administrative Justice. Reporting for City News, Akusia Ochre.
But for me, it is important that this step has been taken because since the issue or the report was made public, the NDC has made certain comments. Even yesterday, there was a media interaction where they wanted Parliament to institute a bipartisan probe. They even called on the special prosecutor to institute an investigation into it. But no formal petition has been sent to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And so for Roxanne Nelson Dafiamapo to take the initiative and petition Shraj, then at least that's a concrete move that we can refer to for investigations to commence into this matter. But you would recall that somewhere 2019, Shraj was petitioned by a private citizen to investigate the then minister, Professor Frimpong Boateng.
I mean, it's narrative. Since this particular story broke, right, the most shocking of all of it really is the posture of the Jubilee House in this. I mean, for an issue as serious as illegal mining and its potential depletion of our natural resources, I expected a president to even be the first to come out to say, see, we take these claims. I mean, even if, let's assume they are hearsays, right? We take these claims to be very serious and we are going to conduct an investigation. That is the kind of response I expected from the presidency. But I mean, notwithstanding, right? We didn't get that. We didn't see that. What we've seen is a spirited defense for the government appointees and party officials, namely this.
As has been the posture of government since it took over.
Exactly. So there are no surprises there, really. And you see, it can't be that only this government is the only sort of group that doesn't see anything wrong with it, right? So you've heard Ken Ashigbe, formerly of Media Alliance Against Illegal Mining, speak on this. We've heard Dr. Mantial, Steve Mantial speak on this. Different CSOs, media, I mean, private citizens are commenting on this. So it shows how serious this issue is. So I think it's a step in the right direction from the Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Dafiamekbo, who himself is a lawyer. I hope that this particular probe by Shraj will see the end we'll see some light at the end. You get it, and in all of this, the truth would stand. I mean, it's a very serious issue that we don't have to toil with in this country at all.
For me, it's demoralizing. I mean, it saddens me that even for us, we are committing our own resources to run a campaign against Galamsey for the benefit of society, the future of young Ghanaians.
It's shocking.
And at the top, we are getting these kind of reports.
We rubbish the report, and the government rubbishes the report and says, well, this is just hearsays and personal grievances. But you see, the man mentions certain forests in the report, and there's evidence to show that there's active illegal mining going on in the area. And for me, I've always maintained that for someone of his stature and caliber and standing in society, may be proud to him accepting the position of minister. I mean, in any other country in this world, Professor Frimpong Boateng, for being someone who established the National Cardiothoracic Center, for being someone who performed the first open heart surgery in the country. I mean, his stature, in any country, he's a national hero. He's some figure, right? I mean, we understand that getting into politics can make or break you. Fine, but I feel like if someone like that comes out to make such grave allegations, and mind you, this is not a report he's uttering now. It's something he did in 2021. So I'm struggling to understand the ill motive in this. If he wanted to, in my opinion, right, if he wanted it was a self-serving report, he would have been out as of the time he authored it. So I expect governments to take a second look at their posture on this. Maybe they should give it some necessary attention, probe it, and get an independent maybe an independent body to look into these issues, all because of the fact that, see, if you don't take issues of illegal mining seriously, it speaks or it goes to the very core of our existence as a state, and it threatens the very livelihood of people in the area, and by extension, all of us as Ghanaians. I mean, Prof. Gordon was on this station, and he told us that, see, not only is it a mental problem, but it threatens our livelihood.
The dangers are real.
An existential
the dangers
crisis,
are
really.
real.
So, I mean, the position of government for me is quite unfortunate.
So I'm saying it really saddens me that we have to treat. I mean, this man has been investigated on same matter and cleared by Shrach. So it's really sad that we want to rubbish him, his image, his credibility, and everything. But I mean, well, this is the CNR Extra here on City TV. Still to come. Electoral Commission urges all political parties participating in upcoming Kumewu by-elections to abide by electoral laws. We'll tell you more shortly. Do stay.
Let's live it up and party and have cracking good fun. When it comes to entertainment, DSTV's #1.
Is everybody ready to go, go, go?
We've got the zaniest characters to transport you away. The party is cracking, so why not come play? You're gonna love it. We've got so many channels and a ton of new shows, like Disney and Nickelodeon, where anything goes. So live it up with DSTV. We bring the fun. You know we're #1.
You're welcome back. Now, in some more stories, the Electoral Commission has called on all political parties and individuals who are seeking to contest the by-election in Kumewu to abide by the electoral laws.
The Electoral Commission is asking all political parties participating in the upcoming Kumewu election to be law-abiding and refrain from acts that will lead to violence. In preparation for the election, the Commission has begun recruiting electoral officers for the exercise. City News' Ashanti Regional Correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
The two major political parties, the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress, have selected their parliamentary candidates to run for the upcoming by-election. The Convention People's Party and the People's National Convention have also settled on who to represent them. An independent candidate is also preparing to contest the polls. The Electoral Commission will conduct the May 23 by-election at Kumewu, and its Ashanti Regional Director, Benjamin Banobio, spoke to City News about preparations so far.
We have finished with the recruitment of returning officers, and the recruitment officials is ongoing. In fact, we've got into advanced stage where we are investigating their backgrounds and things like that. Yeah, having done that, we have also grouped or prepared all the materials that will be needed for the program. When this is done, we'll train them, we'll take them through all the processes that will be involved in the exercise. And we expect them to go by the directives that will be issued to them. Then secondly, they will have to do the work in a very non-partisan manner and go according to what the Commission has indicated for them to do. And so we expect them to work professionally so that in the end, the results that will be declared will be a true reflection of the desire of the people who voted.
The Kumewu parliamentary seat became vacant following the demise of the MPP sitting member of parliament, Philip Baswa. While the MPP is hoping to retain the seat, the NDC and the independent candidates are also leaving nothing to chance and also confident of winning.
But the Electoral Commission wants all political parties to play to the rules.
We are expecting that everybody will play the game according to the law governing elections. We wouldn't want any tension, avoidable conflict, any form of violence should be taken away. The people of Kumawu are going to determine who should be their next MP. So we should give them the opportunity to have peaceful elections. Most often than not, it is the outsiders who come and create confusion and tension. We are not saying that the outsiders should not, even if I were to have my way, if you don't have any business, don't be there.
I feel the Kumawu by-election presents a fine opportunity for all political parties to test the waters, know their strengths ahead of the 2024 general elections. And they know this because if you see the kind of attention and seriousness they've attached to this by-election, it should tell you that they are really looking into the future with Kumawu by-election as a stepping stone.
I mean, it's not so far. I agree with you. Some, more often than not, these by-elections provide a medium through which the government of the day is able to test its popularity, especially when it's close enough into a major election. And a lot of the time, the result is clear for all to see. I mean, in Ayawaso, West Wugon, for example, you saw the seriousness with which both parties attached to it. Of course, culminating in the violence we saw there. So, I mean, Ibuakwa North, when Honorable J.B. Danka was assassinated, which led to Madam Gifty Chuma Mpofo becoming, every other by-election has been quite keenly contested.
Then there was Infansiman.
That was Infansiman to Madam Ophelia replacing her husband. I mean, if it's not internally within the party, at the inter-party stage, you find the competition quite keen. I mean, Talensi, for instance, when BT Baba won over the MPP, when it was an originally MPP seat. So it's expected. And for me, for the life of me, at a time where we are being told about the need for economic austerity and all of those jargons they use, but some way, somehow, we find money to go ahead with the Kumeru roads. That was when I was like, hey, I mean, we need to look at this again.
I mean, we've heard the accusations, but clearly there's been the denial.
The minister says
expected.
The minister says it's not true. We'll take his word for it. But it's in Nana to 4. I live quite close to the Obechebi Lamte runabout, and if you recall the kind of political communication that went into that interchange and how government was boasting about being the government to have completed the most for a project like that to stall and Kumeru roads out of the blue to begin. I mean, let's put one and one together and form our own.
But that may not be fair. Perhaps the facility had been secured or had been negotiated. It just came in. And it should be used for the purpose for which it was secured.
We are both in the news. I mean, when was the last time an issue of Kumeru roads came up? Prior to the death of Honorable Philip Baswame. So
well, the number of times we've heard of Kumeru roads has been residents protesting.
Exactly. No government necessarily committing resources to. I mean, but that notwithstanding, it's great news. I mean, for traders there, for drivers there, we are happy for them that their roads are being fixed because of the economic potential it brings to the area. So, great news for them. But we'll be monitoring and following the by-election keenly. And like we said, it has a way it plays out in the national election.
Exactly.
Whether or not there's confidence in the current government or whether or not the confidence has dwindled a little.
You need to test your popularity.
We'll test it in
well,
the
May 23, 2023, we will know. I mean, Kumewu by-elections will happen on May 23, 2023. But thank you so much, Jude Mensah Duncan. My name is Nanatufo Boateng. You have been watching CNR Extra here on City TV. Many thanks to you for tuning in and keep watching City TV.
About the most?
There's more to do.
I'm a little bothered. He's a little old.
And that's what we're doing, rebuilding America.
Also coming up, his life was a medley of music, entertainment, and activism. Harry Belafonte, the king of Calypso, has died.
I should use this power to change the conditions that I had experienced for those who were coming behind me.
To our viewers watching on PBS in the United States and to all of you around the